I was going to go easy on you, not to hurt your feelings.
You f***ing irritate the shit out of me.
I'm only going to get this one chance. It's just a feeling I've got. Like something's about to happen, but I don't know what.
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right. So I'ma let.
All right, peeps, what's up? Welcome back to episode 14 of Gap Selling Keenan. You know how this works. I am taking on real live sales calls for people who want to sell me whatever it is they're buying, and I'm doing it live. If they can find a problem that I have and they can solve it, I'll buy it. But they got to let me critique them if they can't. So we are ready for another episode of Gap Selling Keenan. On this one, I want to welcome in. Hold on. I got to figure this damn thing out. You figure I'd figure it out by now. Whoa, why can't I do this? Come on. Uh-oh. I'm having problems. It's all my fault. There we go. Here we go. Here it comes.
Yeah, are we good?
We should be good.
Are we good?
We should be good. I think we're good. I think we're good. All right, my man. So Gabriel Martis, did I get that right?
Yeah, that's me, man. Gabriel Martis.
All right, Gabriel, you are in another time zone. It looks late.
It's
so the $1 million question is, are you ready to take advantage of this right before you go to bed? You ready?
Of course I am ready, man.
All right, my man. It's all you. Have at it.
Well, first of all, Keenan, thank you for this opportunity. Really appreciate it. So yeah, my name is Gabriel. I'm a BDR for a Dutch company called Usabilla. We have recently been acquired by SurveyMonkey in the US. I was actually just there for the SKO. We were in San Francisco, and we just got on board.
And I wasn't there. SurveyMonkey didn't hire me for their SKO. I already don't think they're smart, but that's a different story.
All right, man. Well, maybe next year, right? To manage expectations for this call, I want you to know that the goal for this call today is not to immediately sell you something, but instead to see if we both agree if we should book more time to dig deeper into your feedback processes in order to improve them on a later stage. With that being said, let's start. Regarding your business unit, so training, consulting, recruiting, and let's add your website to that. Do you ask your customers for feedback?
No.
Why is that?
Kind of small, I guess. I get a lot of it verbally, right? So I do the trainings right now, and I do the consulting. So they tell me face to face. They're like, "Yo, Keenan, that was fantastic. That was awesome." When it comes to the training, I guess we do. In the training, we ask them to. We do. In the training, we ask them to fill out a survey on Survey Gizmo, I believe. And then on the, we also asked them to go out and do to give us a referral. So I wouldn't call that, I guess you kind of call it feedback. Go out and give us a referral. And then we asked them to go to G2.
Mm-hmm. So if I understand correctly, is this the only place in your business that you currently are asking for feedback?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you do this for example, your consulting or your website?
I just told you. I don't do a consulting because I do the consulting. So I have the client right there and they're like, this is great. One of the things I do at the end of every meeting, one thing I do at the end of every session is was this helpful? And they're like, yes. So I haven't really felt the need to get feedback when I'm sitting right there with the buyer on a monthly basis or on the phone on a weekly basis. Telling me it was great. And then when it's done, 9 out of 10 times I can ask them for a referral and they say yes. And so it's just been, I guess I just felt it's too small. I guess I get it real time. I get it right there.
Yeah. So if I understand it correctly, right now you don't see an opportunity for you to ask your customers for feedback.
No, I mean, that's not true. It's not what I said. I said I get the feedback. So you got to be careful, my man. I just told you I'm getting the feedback, but I told you how I'm getting it. So what did I tell you?
Yeah.
How am I getting the feedback?
You're getting it verbally. But why don't you have a process in place that you can store this?
Why are you asking me to self-diagnose? So this is part of the lesson in teaching. So let's stay here, right? You asked me if I'm getting feedback, and I specifically on the consulting, I told you I get it one-on-one and personally, right? Yeah. So why did you ask the question follow on to that said, then why aren't you getting feedback in the consulting? It suggests you didn't listen, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about a certain type of feedback. You mean like written or something, correct?
Yeah. Like
okay. All right. So first one, be careful. You really got to pay attention. Get out of the head of your product right now and really pay attention. So I told you how I get the feedback for the consulting. Secondly, then you said, well, why am I not? Why are you asking me to self-diagnose? I don't really think I need it. I told you that too earlier. I said, it's just me. I get it face to face.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on from that then. And let's focus on, for example, the training, which is the part where you're currently asking for feedback. The data you're asking for it. So it's on Survey Gizmo. Where is this data like stored when you receive it?
In Survey Gizmo.
Okay. And why is it not, for example, on Salesforce?
I don't know. Why would I put it on Salesforce?
Because, well, honestly, I made an assumption earlier that you would have multiple feedback points, and I was trying to get to see if you would have basically multiple feedback points, and if you would put all this feedback into Salesforce.
So here's another lesson. When you have an assumption, right?
Mm-hmm.
Validate the assumption. Don't operate from the assumption. I love assumptions. Some people say never assume. Fuck that. Assume your ass off. But use the assumption as a guide to take you somewhere. Don't jump off the cliff with your assumption. So if your assumption is I had multiple feedback points or whatever, don't assume, like take that assumption and then turn it into a question. How many feedback loops do you have? Or how many, whatever the word was, and ask me. And then if I say none, know what to do with that. Right? So where you want to go with that?
Yeah, because I'm basically trying to find out why you're not doing this. So why you're not asking feedback? Because you're from earlier calls you've had, I understood that you're scaling up right now. You're trying to grow the business. So I was trying to understand why don't you have a process currently for feedback? Because you're going to have more people, more business. Why don't you have a process for feedback? That's what I'm trying to get to right now.
I don't know, because I don't feel I need it.
Okay.
Like literally, I don't feel I need it. So like that's where everybody paying attention. This is where the concept of expertise in a salesperson is so fucking important. Gabriel, I love you, but you know how this rolls. Look, you can't ask me to understand my world. Like you're the expert. So you need to help me see that not having it is hurting my business. You just can't. Look, I'm smart enough to realize that if I need something, I'll go get it. So if I haven't gotten it already, it must be a blind spot and or I don't need it. So asking me to self-diagnose why I don't have a process in place doesn't help you, because either I have to say I'm too stupid, or it says I purposely know it's important, but I'm not doing it. So you got to take a different tact to get me to see that I'm missing something, and therefore because I'm missing that can be enabled by your feedback product.
Yeah, and
does that make sense?
So maybe this is a good question to ask in the first place. Do you think feedback is important for your business?
Okay. I think, again, it's a dumb question, but I can kind of live with it. But I also gave you the answer. Because remember, this is the tough one for you. And this is where a lot of people miss it. I gave you my answers on feedback, right? So I'm getting the feedback. Now you just asked me, do I think it's important? Yeah, I think it's important. And I told you how I get it.
Yeah.
So what you have to be able to do is recognize that maybe the way I'm getting it is jacked up, or maybe the way I'm getting it isn't effective. Maybe I'm not recognizing how you use it. Like you got to take a different tact here to figure out what problem I may have that I don't realize I have.
Well, so if I understand this, you don't have a current way to process feedback, to record it somewhere for all your different business units, because you don't feel the need to, like you said before. But what I'm trying to get to is that you're getting a lot of valuable data from your customers. You're getting a lot of valuable feedback. which will help you make decisions in the future, but not just you, but your teammates, for example, Brady, or other people you bring on. So I was wondering
what type of data? So you might be heading in the right direction, but what type of data?
For example, you're currently designing this new platform for Gap Selling online.
Yep.
What are you basing this design on? Are you basing the design on assumptions, or do you have data from your followers, customers, on how to build it? Are you building it on assumptions or customer centric?
Okay, so that's an interesting question. So we're building it based on, it looked like it just froze, guys. I hope it's still working for you, because I'm not getting a lot of, okay, let me know it's working. So I think you're kind of heading in a better direction, right? So the online training we're building based on, again, the one-on-one feedback from all of our clients. Because remember, it's only a year old. We've been doing the training for just over a year now. I don't even know how many people we've trained. I guess I could go find it out. But after each session, we get the feedback from the team or from the person who led it. And they're like, this was fantastic. This was phenomenal. And every once in a while, they might say, hey, you might tweak this or tweak that. And we go fix it, right? So there's not a lot of disconnect between running the programs and the direct feedback from the participants and from the, whatchamacallit.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, I thought you're still speaking. Sorry. So basically, what I'm trying to get at is you're scaling right now. You're growing. So eventually, you're not going to have face-to-face with all these people. You're going to have customers online taking your Gap Selling online class. So are you not concerned right now that you're going to miss out on valuable data information?
You can't ask me if I'm concerned. So everybody pay attention. I love Gabriel. He's trying really hard, but he's asking all the same fucked up questions that salespeople ask, right? So I want you to flip the script, okay? Think about this in your space. If I was selling what you're selling, I would want to understand what type of data should I be capturing in my world, right? And particularly what type of data should I be capturing that I'm not capturing?
Yeah.
And then from me saying I'm not capturing that, you could ask a question, well, how do you do this? Without that information, how do you do this? Without that information, how do you do that? Now, hey, that's a good point. I don't. And then you can say, okay, are you concerned that if you can't do this, that could have an impact? Okay, now you got me. I wasn't thinking, right? Yeah. But you know the business. You got to know how people use this shit. You got to know how people, what people track and why it's important to get me to see it. So try that tact.
So yeah, the type of data, let's start with that.
Okay.
For example, customer satisfaction, NPS, customer effort score. So how hard is it for them to complete your training? Do they have any hiccups, bumps anywhere? This is the type of data I'm talking about.
So I kind of get most of that from my contact. I'm going to throw you a bone. Okay, shame on me. Everybody listen, you got to laugh at me, okay? I haven't gone in and looked at our scores on Survey Gizmo. I don't even know what the dang thing looks like. Shame on me. So after this, I'm going to go check it out. I don't even know what information we capture on Survey Gizmo. So, but I don't even know. I don't know to what extent. So what I wouldn't be able to answer something like, is it hard for people to get, how well do people get the information, the training? Is it easy to understand? I don't know if we get that level, and if we do, I haven't even checked. So shame on me, because the overall score and response has always been so high for Gap Selling. We've just made all kinds of assumptions on underneath, but it's been phenomenal. I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
We did a training for a large organization. The original process was to train about 100 of their best people, the people they felt most important, the biggest influences in the organization. And then we were going to train their enablement people, and their enablement people were going to train the rest of the organization, save money, hold it, et cetera. Well, after doing that, and all the other people in the organization hearing about how powerful it was, how much fun it was, how valuable it was, they didn't want to be trained by anybody else but me. So they had to change the whole process And they were like, no, we're going to have you train everybody. So that's the type of feedback I'm getting, that we know it's working and people enjoy it.
Yeah. And have you had any feedback that says the opposite? And what have you done with it?
They usually, again, not captured, but anecdotal. They'll tell me to my face, hey, this might help us. This would be really cool if you could change this. I take that, give it back to Brady. We make the changes, or we're like, no big deal.
Yeah. Okay. So honestly, I'm getting a little stuck here because what I'm trying to get at is basically that I don't see any processes right now. And I feel like you don't have any urgency, or like this is a priority for you to put a process in place that captures feedback from your customers, from your website, your new service that will be online. That's what I'm trying to get at right now, and I'm honestly getting stuck on how to get there with you.
Okay, so let's talk. Okay, if I were you, I do a couple things. One, I try to get me to see why not capturing this data could hurt me.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And if I'm really confident in the one-on-one dialogue, and I'm confident enough that having the enablement person or the head of sales telling me how awesome it was, if I'm okay with that, then you might want to try to pivot to, okay, talk to me about the online training, right? You're not giving that. So how would you get feedback there if that's all going to happen online and you'll never have interaction with those people? How would you get data? How would you track the success of that?
Yeah.
No, that's a question.
Yeah, and your answer to that is probably like you don't have a way right now. Like you don't
have a way. No.
Is it a fair question to ask? Is this something that concerns you, that you're missing out on valuable data, for example?
Okay, you have to stop asking me if I'm concerned about the data. Okay? Let me ask you this. If I don't have the data, how could it negatively impact me?
Well, you don't know what's currently hurting you.
But you know what type of data I should get, right?
Yeah. So, for example, like, are you concerned that you're not, maybe better to ask it more specifically? Are you concerned that you don't know, you don't have insights into how difficult
Stop asking me if I'm concerned. Again, everybody paying attention. Stop asking if people are concerned. You're asking them to self-diagnose. You can ask that later if you have to, but you'll know the answer. The question, let me ask you this. If I'm doing an online, this is where your expertise comes in. If I'm doing an online training, right? Ask me, okay, it's a build online training. Ask me, how much are you going to charge for this?
Okay, how much are you charging for this?
Okay, we don't know yet, but I'll throw you a bone. It's probably going to be around $300. Well, I don't know, around $300. Could be more, could be less, but we'll go with that. Around $300.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you want to ask me, okay, what is your, how long is this training?
Okay, so how long will this training be?
It's going to be anywhere from, I think, 6 to 8 hours of video training.
6 to 8 hours.
Then you might want to ask me, okay, how similar is this to the in-person training?
So why would that question be relevant right now?
I'm sorry?
Why would that question be relevant right now to the inline?
Because you need to understand the size and scope of this online training and the type of investment and expectation buyers are going to have around this. Gabriel, stay with me, man. If I'm selling something that's expensive, that takes a lot of time and investment of their salespeople, and I'm going to take up 6, 8, 10, 12 hours of salespeople's fucking time, and they're going to pay $300, $500, $700 to fucking take this, and I'm not going to be involved with it at all, then maybe I want to get some fucking feedback to make sure I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to yell, but the mere fact that wasn't logical to you is freaking me out, right? Okay. Because I have a big investment I'm trying to protect, and you're trying to tell me by getting that feedback, I can protect that investment. You've got my attention.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think you truly understand the value of what it is you sell.
Well, I do,
it's
but
not the data. I'm telling you right now, it's not the data. It's what the data can do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so in my case, if you're going to sell me on getting feedback on my online training that companies are going to invest time and money into, The value to me is ensuring that that is delivered because it is hands-off. I don't get to sit, like literally a whole sales organization could walk in, sign up 100 people, they all go through it, and I would have no clue if they liked it or not. And at $300 a person times 100, that's $30,000 I could lose, or they'd be pissed off, or I might not get in the future because I had no way of assessing whether or not that was valuable to them.
Okay, yeah, it's clear
So
now.
that's fucking why.
That's a good answer. That's a good and long answer. Thank you.
Yes. Everybody listen, Gabriel, I give you credit for coming on. I love you for this. But guys, this is why I get so frustrated with salespeople. This is why I do this. We just don't process what it is we sell versus the value of it, right? So in your case, you're selling protection, man. And you've got to get me to recognize if I don't protect this appropriately, I could lose tons of money. So then after we have this whole discussion, you got me to walk you through this. You could say, okay, Keenan, now that we know it's $300 a person, and it's going to be 6 to 8 hours of investment, how many of these do you think you'll do in the first year? And I'd be like, I don't know. I think we're budgeting to put, I'm going to make up a number. I need to check it. I say we're budgeting to put, I think I know 500 people through it in the first year. Then you could do that math and you say, so Keenan, if this comes off bad or people don't like this and you don't get that feedback, how would you know if it's a marketing issue versus a bad experience issue or if it's a sales issue? How would you know?
Yeah. And then if you don't have a feedback solution, you would realize, oh, wait, you're screwed, basically.
I might keep keep throwing sales money at it because I don't think it's the product. Yeah. Right?
And then, then you have a real business case to start doing this, for example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
See where I'm going?
Yeah, definitely.
So now you've got me recognizing, oh my God, I don't have a way to capture whether or not people are enjoying this to assess its value. And so I could keep, spending money on marketing and all this stuff and people don't like it and I'm dying and I can't fix it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's very clear by now. You definitely drilled that into my head. So yeah, maybe that's a good place to continue as well. In any way, have you considered to do this? Is this something you're considering to do in the future?
No, never until this call. I have never thought about getting some type of feedback system built into it.
Yeah. Okay. So I definitely
do not ask me why. Do not ask me why because I'll lose it.
Yeah, no. Well, the thing is, I definitely got a lot from this because from what I realized in my preparation, I had all these questions ready and all these things that I assumed from you. And as soon as you said no to me, I kind of got stuck there. And it kind of put an entire, how can you say it, a wrench in my plan. So basically that's where I see it went wrong right now. So yeah, I attribute most of it to that, to these assumptions I made about your business.
Okay. So this is my feedback to you, Gabriel. Whoever you're calling, I'm going to do something I've never done before. We're going to step outside of me here in a second, okay? But if I'm selling feedback, right? So that's what you're selling, feedback, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to be very good at understanding how that data can help the person or company I'm talking to, right? Mm-hmm. So I want you to share with me, if you don't mind, if you can't, say no, I don't want to get you in trouble. Mm-hmm. So if it can't be a specific company, share with me an industry, right? Or the industry, a specific company you're trying to close now is in.
So you're asking me to give a use case, a case study. Okay.
Yep.
So for example, one of our famous ones is that we helped the airline increase their app store rating by from 2.8 to I believe 4.2 in the App Store, which is a huge increase. So that's what the feedback, because using our solution Usabilla, they managed to capture all the negative feedback and increase basically their customer satisfaction by it. So
okay, so what is the app? Can you say it?
The KLM. Well, it's an app for. So let's say it's one of our famous case studies from KLM.
Okay, so it's KLM. So you're allowed to say them. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah, it's a public. It's public.
Okay, and what did the app do?
So
the app do?
So the app was basically where people can like check in and buy their tickets on it. So
okay, so they can check in. So is it like KLM, but is it like the United app or any other airline? I can book my flights, I can check into my flights, I can change flights, etc.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so what type of data do you think that KLM wasn't collecting that would impact the value of that app?
So from what I understood, it was data regarding how the customers were experiencing that app. So the effort it took to use the app.
Okay, be more specific. See what I'm doing here? That's too broad. Be more specific. If you had to sell, let's put it this way: if you knowing what you've done with KLM, if you had to try to sell this to another airline, I want you to give me 3 questions that are very specific about the data that airline might not be capturing that's impacting the value of the app.
Honestly, I don't know this one. I don't know.
Okay, so what data are you capturing for KLM?
Customer satisfaction, customer efficacy.
Too high level. Really? So you mean to tell me that KLM had no way of capturing customer sat on their app? How are you defining customer sat?
So how they feel about the app, like when they use it.
Okay, so that's one. Are you capturing how they feel about the app? That is so freaking high level. If they weren't able to do that, I can't help them. So that's one. Are you capturing customer sat on your app? I can live with that. Give me another one.
Are you capturing how customers experience the check-in phase, for example?
Okay, so when we talk about experience, what do we mean by experience? Define that.
An emotion.
What are we capturing for KLM that's in the experience bucket?
Basically, an emotion relating to their website or their app.
Is that what you're doing? So are you getting an emotion for KLM?
No.
What are you tracking to measure the experience? How long it takes?
Yeah, for example.
Okay, so come on, man. Gabriel, think.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to capture how long it takes for a user of the app to make to check in, or to make a change to their flight, or to see when their flight comes in, or I don't know, or get on the standby list, or add themselves to the upgrade list? I don't know what you're capturing here. I don't know, right? But do not each and every one of those impact customer experience?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, so is your offering capturing any of those deep level things for KLM?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm sure, but I feel like I'm explaining it really wrong right now. So
look, I know you're under stress and I'm putting a lot of stress on you and all that, right?
Yeah, bro.
But here's the deal. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that you need to get deeper. You need to have a better understanding of specifically the type of data that can be captured that could improve the value of my service, the value of my product, the value of my app, whatever it is. You're going to be very specific.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's where the win is. It's the value of the data. Am I not telling the truth?
You're telling the truth, definitely.
So when you say to me, are you capturing customer sat? That's just too easy. I see no value in capturing customer data. But if you start to get me to think, and I'm an airline staying on KLM, hey, Mr. United, do you have a feedback loop that captures how long it takes somebody to change a flight? Or if you can't capture that level, do you have an app that allows you to see if people are happy with how quickly they can change a flight? Right? And the answer is no. So then you can say, so then you don't know if people are happy with that process. Do you think that could be impact? Now that's when you can ask the question. Do you think that could be impacting the use of the app? You know, we could, but we have no way of capturing that. Well, if you knew that and you knew it was taking too long and customers were happy, would you change it? Well, of course we would change it. Well, then you better fucking start getting the information. Right? You've literally got me to a place that says, I can't do something now. I don't know what the results are, but if I had the data, I would make a change. So therefore, by default, I better get the data.
Yeah.
Am I making any sense?
You are. But I just could not think in the moment when you were like, basically asking me all these questions, and it was really hard to answer those. So yeah.
Okay. So everybody listening, is it making sense to you? This is your job right now. You, my friend, are not selling a software to get to what do you call it? To get feedback. You're not even selling data. You're selling what that data can enable, what that data can do. And that is going to be different for every buyer, for every company, for everybody you work with. So it's your job to get to the data level.
Yeah.
What data do you need as a company that's launching an online sales training versus what data do you need to make an app for booking airlines and tracking my airlines versus what data do you need as a soccer coach that has an online, engagement with his fans? Like, you got to think about who you're talking to and what data they need, that if they're not getting specific data, not high level, bro, specific data, if they're not getting, could have substantial negative impact on their world, so that they're like, you know what, you're right, I need to pay for that data. And this is why the current state and future state is so important to you. Current state, you're not getting this data, you're at risk for this, you can't do this, you're exposed here. Future state, if you had that data, wow, you could do this, 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 and this, and the impact would be this, and look at the size of that gap.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah. No, definitely. I see where I went wrong here. Like, my questions were super high level. They were not specific to what you were doing and trying to do as well. So I think that's also another point that I went wrong in, is I didn't ask the right specific questions.
So here's the lucky part for you. Like I've done the last 3 people. You guys are fucking killing me. I sold me for you.
All right.
I am a little concerned that when we launch this online sales training, that we have no feedback. And so I think we need to get feedback because we are out of that loop. Okay. So I think we're scheduled to launch this in April. Oof, it's coming up fast. So I want you to send me a DM. I'll connect you with Brady. She's going to be responsible for this. I'll be part of it. And you can walk us through how you can help. Now, look, you didn't even go into your product. I don't know if it's the solution we need, but you've at least sold me. Someone's going to make some money on Keenan and the sales guy out of this one. I sold me trying to help you sell me on the fact we do need some level of feedback built into this thing that I had never thought about. So we're going to do it.
Okay, cool. Well, this is I was not trying to sell you, but that's a good result. So yeah, I mean, there we go. For the next steps, I'll contact Brady. You said I'll send you a message. So yeah,
you can DM me. I'll give you her email.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you for the feedback. This was super helpful. I'm gonna rewatch this tomorrow and see like where I can improve my my questioning, my pitch. So I'll definitely be doing that in the future. So yeah, thank you again.
My pleasure, baby. And now when you did it publicly, so I'm sure some folks at Usabilla and SurveyMonkey are going to see this. They're going to realize they made a mistake. They should have had my ass at their SKO, because then you would have got this shit straight from the beginning.
Well, I'm sure I'm going to get roasted soon at work, so don't worry about that.
Hey, anybody roast you, you tell them that you went on and they didn't. Never roast the person who took the step versus those who didn't.
Yeah. I'm going to give you more information as well, because like your methodology was the first methodology was given to me when I started my first sales job, which is this job. I've been doing this for 4 months now. I'm still learning, and this is super helpful to basically my growth. So I'm going to continue doing this and see where it takes me.
Good for you, baby. That's the right attitude, my man. That's the right attitude. I love it. All right, man. I appreciate it. Listen, everybody else, this is Gap Selling 14. If you think that you have a product or service that I need and you want 15 minutes of my time, hit me up on LinkedIn, DM me, and I will give you the 15 minutes. And if I have a problem you can solve, I'll buy it. But you got to gap sell me, and you got to be prepared to take the heat if you don't. All right, folks, thank you very much for showing up. Give some mad love to Gabriel because he actually tried. Those of you who are sitting there just watching, give the man some love because he's doing it. To everybody else, you know what I'm going to say. Till next time, peace. I'm out.
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something.